So we are joined via audio, via telephone, with our client, Olivia. And Olivia, if you wouldn't mind kicking us off by telling us your first name, where you live, and what you do.
I'm Olivia Ramondines. I am currently in Arizona, and I was a category manager.
And would you mind mentioning like what subject matter expertise that's in?
Oh, sorry, IT and healthcare, and then specifically IT. I don't have a whole lot of experience in direct yet. It sounds like I'm going to be though.
It does. Well, we're stoked for you. Would you mind sharing just a little bit about where you were in your job search that prompted you to want to get some help?
So I got laid off in October of 2023. I was shocked because I was at a company where I intended to retire from. Like all that was my intent. There wasn't any question about it. That's what was going to happen. And I'm nowhere near retirement age yet, but that was the plan. So it was a shock. It took me a while to get over it. So, I found a couple of recruiters and some coaches and stuff that were trying to approach me, but I just wasn't ready yet. And then it all kind of came in, and I was at that point kind of devastated. And I reached out to Keisha Galeos, and I was talking to her about it a little bit. She's my life coach, and she mentioned you specifically and your business. And so I did a little bit of research on it just so that I understood. I was going to do it either way because Keisha said so. But I needed to do a little bit of research and see what it was I was getting myself into. And I still waited. I was like, I don't need to do that yet. I totally got this. I'm going to get a job. I'm fine. Everybody thought I was going to get a job. I'm well skilled. I'm really good at what I do. And so nobody questioned Olivia, of course, was going to get a job. And Olivia was not getting a job. So I waited, as long as I could. And then at some point I was like, okay, I need help really bad. And that's when I signed up for Career Amp.
That's awesome. Well, a huge shout out to Keisha. She was also my first coach. I didn't know that you came to us through Keisha. That's amazing. She has a heart of gold. And so, Keisha, if you're listening, we're shouting you out. But I'm I'm so glad that that's how our paths crossed. And totally get the needing help and hitting our heads against brick walls and all that stuff. So as you were evaluating coaching programs and partners in this pursuit on the career side of the house, what was important to you about finding a partner that ultimately made you choose CareerAmp?
There were several that approached me. I just wasn't interested. Like I said, I kind of figured I could do this on my own. I'm going to be fine. So I didn't consider anybody else. Like I said, if Keisha said this is going to, you were awesome and your program was awesome, I wasn't going to explore anywhere else. I'd already dismissed everybody else, and so that was it. I was going to do it. It was just wanted more info on it.
That's great. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Gives me goosebumps hearing that. So thank you. And so okay, so you hopped inside. And what would you say, like, if you were to go back to your first couple of weeks in the program, what would you say was like a first aha moment or first initial win right off the bat that you noticed?
I wasn't sure about where I was going to go. I have a skill set that's not necessarily universal, but can cross industries. There's a lot of different areas I can go into, like with what I do. So I was kind of like going where the jobs were taking me kind of search. And so when I went through the different milestones, there's a couple of them that really focus on what compels you, what drives you, right? Just in general, not even talking about a career, just what drives you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so going through that and exercise, I mean, I've always known what I like to do and what I want to do. And, for me, it just wasn't realistic. But going through that exercise and seeing what compels me, what drives me towards the different things that I would like to do, whether it's personal or in my career, it was cool to see that they actually align with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to see the elements of where I thought I wanted to be and still do, but I can fulfill that mission using my skills in what it is I'm doing today.
Yes.
So it didn't change it didn't change my direction, but what I wasn't expecting was it affirmed that I was on the right path.
Yes, and that affirmation is so powerful because otherwise we have those, well, at least for me, right, you have those voices in your head that are saying, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? And how do I find clues in order to discern whether or not I'm on the right path? And I think the other really important thing I think that you mentioned is like, what you love to do. And sometimes we hesitate or don't know how to put into words the why we love what we do. And that affirmation piece, I think, is so critical for someone like you who really needs that in order, yes, for direction, but B, about how to talk about it once you get into interviews. Would you agree? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Absolutely. In fact, like I said, some of the personal drives, I'll give you an example. One of my personal drives that I would have really liked to do in my life is missionary work, overseas missionary work. And my heart's over there, but the pay isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So in my pursuit of a job, I was crossing industries. I looked at the transportation industry. I looked at all kinds of different areas, and I landed on no, healthcare is my space.
Hmm.
I have a heart for people. I want to make sure that they're healthy, that they have what they need. And in the
Hmm.
healthcare system, a lot of organizations don't just help people in general, but they help people who are socially economically challenged. And
Hmm.
that's the piece that I wanted to be a part of. So when I make large savings in the supply chain, and I'm negotiating millions and millions of dollars worth of contracts, but I'm saving is just as much. I feel like, and I don't know if it's true, but I feel like this savings goes towards making sure those premiums are just a little bit less next year, right?
Yes.
They don't go up quite as much, or the medications or the co-payments are able to stabilize and not fluctuate too much for the people who need it.
Hmm.
And so you see how the missionary work can kind of cross over to still taking care of people using my skill set, here at home.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. That's so good to hear. What would you, Olivia, think your biggest win was in the program? I mean, we've talked a lot about your move to, getting this VP title in this move and the compensation piece, but what would you consider to be your biggest win? Would it be those things or something else?
I think using the methodology that I was taught in the program, you're taught to have the power chats, right, and how to get those power chats. And those power chats for me were invaluable. They're invaluable for where I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah, totally. That's great. That's so awesome. And last question here, Olivia, which is, if someone's listening to our conversation here, and perhaps they are on the fence on whether or not they want to go through Career Amp or sign up, what would you want them to hear from you?
Yes, absolutely. It serves more than just the purpose that is in front of you. There's a lot of other areas that you can explore using the methodology. So just know that you're getting more than what you think you're getting out of it, because there's more to it than just the side door method or the milestones. There's a lot you can do with the material.